Hi. So I thought I was going to talk about something different today, but actually all that's been going around my mind all day, literally, I've just done my final workout and it's still going around my head today, is that out of all the videos that I posted, certainly in the last 24, 25 days, the comments and the messages actually about yesterday's video have been the most impassioned and vocal and sort of knocked off really. Where I was talking about the fact that it seems that a very small percentage of the world's population are interested in being a member of the world's population and trying to be better at doing that, really. The whole idea of what makes us uniquely human. People don't seem to be exercising and working on that ability to be a human being. And so I had some really interesting comments on the channel, but it was definitely, there was an edge to them that seemingly I don't normally get in the comments. Not negative at all, but more, just kind of knocked off. And I had a few messages actually as well, WhatsApp and through Instagram and stuff like that. So I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. It seemingly sort of falls into two main areas, and some people were talking about both. But the first one really is that generally people seem to be quite disinterested in the whole idea of being a person, what it is that makes us humans, and are either naive to it, the fact that we can get better at it, which is silly, isn't it? Because literally everything else we do in life we can improve at. But the thing that we are, the only thing that we are, all of our lives, people sort of, I don't know, they don't see the wood for the trees or something. And perhaps I was one of those people for decades. Maybe it takes a little bit of maturity. What's that famous quote that, I don't know, it might be Lao Tzu, it might be somebody else, but somebody said, that we all have two lives and the second one realizes that we only have one. And I think that's something that stayed with me for a long time. I think that's very true. And that happened to me fairly recently, that, you only get kind of one shot at this. But I guess some people don't ever have that realization. Maybe not when they're younger. We all feel like we're bomb-proof. But there's definitely this idea, this sense that people don't take personal responsibility for being people. That was the first thing. Then secondly, there was this kind of direction that the world we live in kind of distracts and dilutes us away from that. Now, obviously, my feed, and probably yours as well, is full of stuff like this. Most of my ideas and knowledge and the things that I try and apply and develop skills in are based off of my social media and what I see on YouTube and Instagram, and my email inbox as well. Actually, I subscribe to a few kind of newsletters and things like that. It's where my area of interest lies. So I get this echo chamber. I'm sure you do too. But I guess ultimately we get distracted. It's easy to be surface distracted easily every single day, isn't it, by just vacuous nothingness. But I wonder if you kind of take this further and whether there's a layer of kind of conspiracy theory-esqueness to this to kind of keep the plebs down, the whole keep the masses sort of uneducated and stuff like that. Because of course, the more you think, the more you think, right? The more you kind of become a world aware, and the fact that you can change yourself quite drastically. I think I have the right to say that I'm proof that it's possible that you can kind of change your ways if you're so inclined. I guess that could be dangerous, but that's, from my perspective, that kind of veers sort of more towards the whole conspiracy theory thing, which I'm not really I steer away from that quite a lot. That's not to say there's no truth in it though. And then whilst I was kind of rereading the comments, which I did before, so I read them and then I reread them before I reply, because I want to make sure that what I'm saying is relevant to the most part. But there seemed to be this kind of sense as well, although nobody really directly said this, but there seems to be this sense that people felt like they had a personal impact, like other people's lack of self-development or awareness that they could self-develop has had a personal impact on themselves. And there seems to be a level of annoyance that people didn't take that responsibility. And I do understand that. I feel the same way sometimes, but only, not necessarily about this, but more when people should know better. So, for example, if somebody knows something, if they've been shown it, they've been taught it, and they just don't exercise it, I tend to sort of like get a bit frustrated that you have the skills and the education and the understanding of why you should do something, but you don't necessarily do it. Now, there are always reasons. People don't purposefully act in a negative way. There's always a reason behind it. And I'm sure it's happened to all of you, as it has to me, when you sort of quiz a student or something on why they haven't done something. And there's actually sometimes a really good reason. There seems to be this sort of personal affront that I'm working on myself and that you should too. And I kind of get it. You know, if we're trying to be better members of society, then perhaps everybody should have that personal responsibility. I know there are certain cultures, certain countries where that is a personal responsibility. I know that in the Scandinavian countries, there's a very kind of direct thought process about your health, and that if you don't look after yourself and you don't stay healthy and fit and active, that actually it's not just you're affecting, it's the tribe around you. You know, you're taking resources away from people that are genuinely sick, purely because you didn't look after yourself, and that you are educated enough to know better. And I kind of get that, I really do. But what it got me thinking was, of course, we have no control over them, right? We have zero control over other people. That's the Stoic well, it's not Stoic philosophy, it's just fact, isn't it? We have zero control over what other people do. So it got me wondering, what can we do about it? What can we do about other people's lack of self-development? And I wonder whether it's just kind of be the change you want to see sort of thing, which is a saying I hate, but I kind of get it. The only thing that we have in our control is to be better ourselves. And if people maybe see the more calm demeanour and the more controlled manner that we conduct ourselves in through our own self-development, maybe that will pique their interest. I know for a fact that my entire sort of interest in this was piqued by other people, and looking at them and thinking, wow, you've kind of turned your life around. And actually, a little sneaky thing, I haven't really spoken to anyone about this, but I've got this idea that I'd really like to interview some of those people. A lot of them are from the music industry, and I'd really like to interview them, not necessarily about the music industry, but about how they've, you know, tackled the difficulties of being on the road or being in a culture like, you know, I grew up in and worked in. But that's a bit of an aside. I just think that that's the only answer that we have, is to kind of just carry on. We can't let the idea that we can control them take over at all, because we can't do anything about it, and all we can do is lead by example. The only other thing that was going through my head was, is this genuinely a new thing? If it was something everybody did, it wouldn't be a thing like looking at philosophy or personal development or any of those things. It wouldn't even have a name. It would just be like breathing. And you know, you look back at Plato and Socrates, and you look at Marcus Aurelius, you know, they're all kind of outliers. So I don't think this is a new thing. Yes, okay, maybe social media has exacerbated it, but yeah, I don't genuinely think that the lack of the majority either being educated or having the privilege to be able to do this is a new thing necessarily. That's where my head's at. I don't think I've got any conclusions other than the fact that, you know, I just need to be aware that I'm not getting frustrated at other people's shortcomings when they affect me, because ultimately, A, I can't do anything about it, and B, I can't do anything about it. Anyway, that's today. No boxing tonight, because I'm going to gig with Bex, but I'm going to go boxing tomorrow night. On Friday, I'm going to go to the sparring and bag session, which I think I mentioned in last week's video. So really just moving the Friday session to, Thursday session to the Friday, and the Friday will be the boxing day instead. Anyway, have a lovely evening. I'm going to go and see my baby at the Lantern in Bristol with Bex and have a boogie. Goodbye.